Welcome back. All right, first off, somebody made a comment about not petting the cats in videos and them feeling bad for the cats. They don't get any lack of attention. If you've watched the live stream, you know they get no lack of attention from me. So that shadow, bear's taken off. She's probably going for more food because it's what she does all day. So yeah, let us get down to the action. Washington and Pittsburgh, and this is a great matchup because I have giant magnets for both teams. So score, equal size magnets. That's always important. And yeah, this was a game that if you're a Washington fan and you're not concerned, I don't know what'll make you concerned. You know what? It's going to be people wanting to put this on Vanacek. I don't know that I would go that far. But let's go through the notes. Kuznetsov returned today. Vanacek, and this is his 10th start in a row. Had 903 save percentage coming in. But Vanacek and the Capitals had a week off. Games being postponed and all that. Against Jari, who came into today with an 857 save percentage. That would come up today. And good start for Jari. And this is game number 80 in the matchups between Sid the Kid and Ovechkin. That is your storyline. And, yeah, Crosby normally wins these matchups. That seems to be the case anyways, historically. Both meetings before this one today that these teams have had went to overtime. So these teams are close. At 26 seconds, the Caps get a power play. Their power play is number 1 in the NHL coming into today. The penalty kill for the Penguins, 29th. So, kind of opposite there. And I'm thinking, you know what? These teams have played each other twice. I'll bet you those are related numbers that the Capitals did well in the first 2 games against Pittsburgh. But at 3:38, the Capitals then get a second power play. So the Penguins did a good job to kill off that first power play, and then there's a second. And Ovechkin blasts one wide, and honestly, it was a good penalty kill by the Penguins until like 20 seconds left in the power play. Kuznetsov scores from Schultz and Eller at 5:18. And it deflected off Marino's stick. So that's not one that you can look at Vanacek and say, well, he should have had that. Went off Marino's stick. Jari. Get your goalie straight. Jari. Can't blame Jari on that one. Definitely can't blame Vanacek on goals that Washington scored. Where were you on that one? I was at the other end of the ice. What are you talking about? So, yeah, 20 seconds left in the power play. The Capitals go 1 for 2 on the power play, even though the Penguins' penalty kill looked pretty good to that stage. The Penguins, with that, have now trailed in every single game they've played this year. So, as I said on here, better than the Bruins and the Flames. Take that. Boston and Calgary, who come from behind very, very often. Pittsburgh has made it an art form where they managed to have 7 wins this year, even though every single game they're fighting from behind. They've been behind in every game. It's a bold strategy. We'll see if it continues to work. Special teams had really taken the flow out of this game early, and I was nervous because Hebert was the ref. And I'm watching these games, and when I see Hebert as the ref, I take notice. I'm like, all right, so how many power plays could we end up with out of this one? Honestly, after that first 5 minutes, it wasn't too bad. Bryan Rust gets a goal then from Matheson and Crosby at 10:29, and it was great 3-way passing to get that goal. And this is kind of what happened. It felt like the Capitals' defense wasn't really countering, and they weren't able to do whatever you needed to do to get in the way of those 3-way passes. Zucker then tried to make it 2-1 on the next shift, and the momentum had swung. And then off of a face-off won by Teddy Bluger, the next face-off actually, passes it back to Ceci, and then there's a big fat rebound that goes to Tanev, and at 11:01, it's 2-1 in favor of Pittsburgh. And that rebound, you could kind of look at Vanacek and say, you know, he probably should have covered that. But again, it's 2-1 Pittsburgh. And then the Penguins are just swarming the puck at that point. I thought the Capitals might need a timeout because, again, 2 goals in 30 seconds. And the Penguins looked like they were getting close to a third. Then there's a power play at 12:59 for the Penguins. Vanacek stopped a chance for Gensel as the Penguins buzzed for a power play goal. Last minute chances for the Capitals. And things get kind of scrummy at the horn. These teams don't like each other. We know that Tom Wilson tends to get under the skin of opposition, and he has this special ability with Pittsburgh to do so. So we go to the second period with Pittsburgh in the lead. Doesn't last. Jacob Vrana scores from Oshie at 3:26, and he has his standard goal celebration after he scores to tie up the game. And it felt like the Caps started this game much better in the second period than they ended the first. And yet, they were good early in the first, too. So early in periods, they weren't too shabby. It was finishing periods. Now, the interesting thing I found is that they kept saying, well, the Capitals haven't played for a week. Right, but Pittsburgh's only got one game in the last week as well. So, because I know from the power rankings last night, right, where Pittsburgh won the one game they played, Washington lost the one game they played, that's all that we had to go on for the last week. So I don't necessarily think that it's a huge benefit to Pittsburgh that the Capitals had that full week off. It just felt kind of flat in places. And then there was an awkward fall for Vrana. He did stay in the game though. I don't think he came out at all. But it was an awkward fall where his skate kind of sticks and his knee kind of twists in a way that your knee's not supposed to twist. The term hyperextended came to mind for me on that one. And then at 6:17, Dowd with a high stick, and it's a power play for the Penguins. On that power play, they score. It's Bryan Rust from Letang and Gensel at 6:44, and it broke a long drought for Pittsburgh's power play, and it's one of the confusing things to me about Pittsburgh. They have a ton of guys that can score goals on this team. It makes no sense to me at all that this power play is not one of the top 10 in the league. So, maybe coming out of this game, maybe that's going to start to change. These teams will match up again on Tuesday. So we'll see if Pittsburgh's power play is going to get things going, because really, there's no excuse for it not to. Letang then takes a delay of game call. The Caps get their third power play. Ovechkin denied goal number 712 by Tristan Jarry. Yep. They always, in every game for Capitals, they always mention how many goals Ovechkin has, because this is what we do. The interesting thing is that Ovechkin, in terms of his goal scoring, this year it's just not... I mean, the chances are there. I think through the first two periods he had, I think it was 12 shots he directed at the net, and 3 of them actually hit the net. It's just, I don't know, it doesn't feel like he's going to get a ton of goals right now. And then we'll have further questions about whether or not it's possible for him to catch Gordie Howe, whether or not it's, how far is he going to go up the goal chart, because he is getting older, and going to happen. Most players, as they get older, their goal scoring will tend to fall off a bit. And then Gensel at 10 minutes and 44 seconds, 19 seconds after the power play ended. So they kill off the penalty, and Gensel gets a goal, and that made it 4-2 in favor of Pittsburgh. It's the first 2-goal lead of the season for Pittsburgh. So another stat that's weird, right? They've been behind in every game, and they never had a 2-goal lead until this game. The Capitals really needed some saves at this stage, too, where it felt like every time Pittsburgh got a good chance, it went in the net. And every time Washington got a good chance, there was a 50-50 chance it was going to get saved. So there's a big difference there. Pens, at this point, too, were just throwing pucks at the net. And I thought one more goal against, and Vanacek was going to get pulled. I thought if this game became 5-2, then Craig Anderson would be in the net for Washington. At 13:06, Ruedel takes a penalty. Dowd hurt, ugly fall on that one. And so a couple of ugly falls for members of the Capitals. And yeah, actually this is the one where he planted his knee, and the awkward fall for Vrana was something different. There's a lot of falling down going on in this one. Vrana stayed in it, and so did Dowd. So the Capitals get their fourth power play. Solid penalty kill by the Penguins. I think that was the end of the awkward falls for Capitals players. Backstrom would score at 17:49, so that's quite a ways after the power play ended. Ovechkin and Karlsson with the assists, and it was Malkin that should have had the puck, and he kind of mishandled it. Couldn't get the puck away from Backstrom. I was actually kind of surprised to see 2 assists on this goal, because I kind of thought that would qualify as an unassisted goal, but yeah, Backstrom gets that, and it's one of those plays that Malkin needs to get that puck turned over. Just couldn't quite get there. And then the Caps, in the final minute, were pushing for the tie. So that made it 4-3, and it changed the complexion of this game. If they'd had the 2-goal lead going into the third, who knows? But in the third, the Capitals do push. Jarry with some big saves in the first minute. Capitals were definitely pressing for the tie. And Panik, the depth guys for the Caps, were playing the best hockey in this third period. The Eller line was very prominent. Wilson and Tanev also having a long conversation during the entire game. Brandon Tanev and Tom Wilson, they may actually have a coffee at some point once the pandemic's over. Maybe that's what they were planning. Maybe because they seem to be quite happy about it. So they were having a long conversation. Cece then had a chance. Vanacek made the save. And I'm going to go ahead and say I thought Cody Cece had a good game. Cody Cece has shown in Pittsburgh at times that if his ice time is used correctly and he's paired with the right guy, he can be a useful defenseman. Not saying Norris or anything, but he can be a useful defenseman. Crosby and Rust then had chances at around the half, and still, you were feeling like, okay, can Vanacek make the saves? He did. In the third period, he absolutely did. Then there's a net crash with 7 minutes left, and it's the Eller line in on it again. I'm not sure how Jari keeps that out, because it was like a yard sale in front of the net, but he does keep it out, and Jari making some big saves. So late in the game, the Capitals still pressing for the tie as much as they can, but they're not getting enough shots. Pittsburgh still controlling the play. So when you pull the goaltender, and that's the kind of thing that's going on, you get some empty netters. First, Aston Reese from Letang and Jari at 18:57. So Jari with the second assist on that one, and then Crosby with an empty netter as they were trying everything to take him down at 19:11. So Sid the Kid gets a goal here, and he gets an assist. 2 points for Sydney, and the Penguins win this one 6-3. So the Penguins go to 7-5-1. The Capitals drop to 6-4-3. The shots were 10-9 Pittsburgh in the first, 14-11 Washington in the second, 17-8 Pittsburgh in the third. Final shots 38-31 for the Penguins. So yeah, they really brought this home in that third period. Power plays, Washington 1 for 4, Pittsburgh 1 for 2. The hits 30-26 in favor of the Capitals because you have Tom Wilson, so of course you're going to lead in hits. Vanacek saved 32 out of 36. He did recover after those 4 goals went in, but again, at least one of those goals he probably should have had. And again, the Capitals are looking for those big saves they're just not getting. Jari made some big saves. He's saved 28 out of 31. Good start for him. So I also wanted to throw in a tidbit here that every time I hear Zombie Nation during a game, I picture it like the Bruins have showed up in the rink, because that's their goal song. So I picture like the Bruins have just showed up in the rink. They're going to hit the ice, and they're going to play winner. That's always what I think. I'm always like, aha, nobody expected the Bruins to show up in this. Every time I hear Zombie Nation, that's my thought process. So there you go. Just throwing that in there. Anyways, hope everybody's having a wonderful Sunday. It's snowing here, which means it's extremely cold everywhere else because I live in one of the warmest parts of Canada during the winter anyways. And yeah, when we're getting some snow, it means it's really cold. But it also means that it should start warming up. So if you're east of us, you're probably going to get air that's a little bit warmer anyways over the next couple of days. We'll see, right? All right. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. And don't forget to hit like where you like the video and subscribe where you subscribe to the channel because it's popular. All right. Thank you guys again. And we are going to be watching Vegas and Colorado next. And I'll be doing a review of that one. So stick around. I'll talk to you soon.